Insights from the world's best medical minds. You are watching therightdoctors.com.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Avinash D'Souza here, consultant psychiatrist from Mumbai and founder trustee at the D'Souza Foundation, a trust that works in the mental health awareness across all sectors. You are with me on the rightdoctors.com, India's leading medical knowledge platform. And here today, I am speaking to you about depression and suicide, a few facts about it, a few myths about it. And if you have a family member who probably suffers from depression, how do you identify it? And more so, what should one do in these situations? Most importantly, what one shouldn't do in these situations. Depression is one of the commonest psychiatric problems seen worldwide. WHO has mentioned that 1 in 3 people are depressed. So, generally, in every family, you would have one member that is undergoing some signs or some symptoms of depression. The current pandemic has also taken its toll on our mental health, and as a result, we are seeing more and more cases of depression and anxiety come up post the lockdown, post the quarantine, post COVID, and I think post the economic recession that will follow. In fact, many feel that after the COVID pandemic, we'll have a second pandemic, which is the mental health pandemic that is going to come up. And today we're going to talk to you about depression. What is depression and why is it so important? Depression is one of the illnesses which is a silent killer. You don't see it coming, you don't see the symptoms, you don't see the signs, and then the person suddenly breaks down with a lot of psychological problems. Depression is a disorder where you may see the following signs. You may feel low, you may feel sad, you may feel upset, you may feel depressed, and in a more colloquial term, you may say you're feeling blue. One may have crying spells where one may cry without reason. There may be decreased sleep. You may sleep less at night. You may get up many times at night. It can happen that you may also sleep more. One may show decreased appetite. Sometimes, where one is depressed, you may also show increased appetite, where you may look towards food for solace. You show a decline or a decreased focus and attention in work. You may also show reduced concentration in all that you do. You may forget things. You may find nothing pleasurable. You may find things that used to give you pleasure earlier don't seem to give you pleasure now. You may feel upset. You may feel no interest in anything whatsoever. And a lot of people believe that, okay, the current scenario is negative, so depression is bound to happen and we can snap out of it. Well, if you have a relative that has cancer or diabetes or blood pressure, you don't tell him to snap out of it. So, why do we say the same for depression? Because we believe that depression is something which people can overcome, not always. They may need medical help, they may need psychological help, they may need psychiatric help to overcome this problem. Let us look at some of the most common myths and facts related to depression. A lot of people believe that women are more prone to depression than men, but that's not the case. Men and women are equally prone to depression. In fact, older people are also prone to depression. Children and adolescents are also prone to this disorder. So, if you see, depression affects the entire gamut of the human life cycle, right from childhood to old age. Another common myth is that depression comes and goes and it will go off and you will snap out of it on your own. But that's not the case. Once depression comes into you, it stays until you go out proactively and seek help, either through counseling, medication, or both. Depression is not going to leave you. So if you think it's going to go off in a phasic manner on its own, it isn't. One of the other myths with regard to depression is that, oh, if I go to a psychiatrist and seek help for depression, he's going to put me on antidepressant medication. And that medication is going to be addictive. It's going to affect me lifelong. And what is going to happen is that I will then be on medications forever. What's very important to know is the fact that, yes, not all patients with depression need medication. Some may benefit from counseling alone, though I would say 50 to 60% of patients do need medication. Once you start a patient on medication, it's important to know that medication continues for a period of 2 to 5 years if needed, and we may taper off medication earlier based on patient's recovery and response. Do not interfere with the medication dosage on your own. Do not decide tapering off or stopping the medication on your own. Medication initiation, starting, stoppage, dosage changes all have to be done with the help of a psychiatrist. You cannot do jugglery with this medication on your own because it will affect your mood. So once you start medication, maintain a follow up with your doctor. It's very essential. Please speak to your doctor about all your worries, all the botherations that you may have, all the negativeness you may have with regard to medication, and get it out of your system. It's very important that you clarify your doubts and start medication with the faith that you're going to recover. Another myth that people have is that in depression, when you feel suicidal, it will also pass off. But what people don't understand, the fact is that anyone who feels suicidal needs help. A very common myth that people have is, oh, if I feel suicidal, then those who talk about it won't attempt and won't do it. So it's very essential that, we should probably just neglect them and they'll be fine. The fact is, if you are suicidal and you feel suicidal, you need psychiatric help. Don't neglect it. Don't ever think that the one who talks about it won't do it. It's a very deadly problem, and the transition from thinking about suicide to committing suicide is only a few minutes. So, one, it's very important the moment you come to know a friend, relative, acquaintance, etc., talks about suicidality or feeling suicidal, immediately take him to a mental health professional. It could be a psychologist, a counselor, a psychiatrist, but take him and see that he or she gets help. It's very, very important. It's also important to understand that a lot of people feel that medical illnesses may cause depression. That's a myth. It's well known that depression coexists with medical illnesses. So, if you have diabetes, you have blood pressure, you have asthma, you have COPD, you have arthritis, you're more prone to depression. Medical illnesses do not cause depression, but depression acts as a comorbidity in these illnesses. To overcome depression, it's very important that you get yourself assessed. First, the physical causes of depression need to be ruled out. The physical causes include B12 deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, thyroid hormone deficiency, anemia, malnutrition. All these causes need to be ruled out through a health checkup. Heart disease, blood pressure also needs to be ruled out. One needs to monitor what medication the patient is taking, because sometimes our medications used for medical conditions like antihypertensives, anti-diabetic agents, antiviral agents all may sometimes cause depression as a side effect. Even steroids or medications used in arthritis may sometimes cause depression as a side effect. So all this has to be taken into consideration. After this, you're referred to a mental health professional, and the mental health professional will take a thorough history about your symptoms. He will take a thorough history about your past, present, future, family, personal stresses, work stresses, family stresses, and then decide and come upon a diagnosis of depression. It's important to also know that depression may not always exist alone. You may see depression with anxiety and other psychiatric conditions also. So you have patients who have depression and at the same time feel panicky, they feel anxious, they may feel that there's a lot of panic attacks which are happening, and this also needs to be treated simultaneously. There are a number of family stressors, interpersonal problems with your spouse, alcoholism, interpersonal problems with other family members, financial stressors, job stress, and multiple other factors that are interlinked to cause depression. Even these need attention. The assessment of depression involves certain psychological tests that would include paper and pencil tests, projective tests, and certain rating scales to assess how depressed the person is. It's very important as a doctor that you ask every patient that comes to you with depression about suicidality. Never assume that this patient may probably not be suicidal. Ask him, do you ever feel life is not worth living? Ask him, do you ever feel that you want to end your life? Do you ever feel if you were not here, things would have been better? Asking these questions may make the patient open up to you and tell you about feeling suicidal. When you don't ask these questions, you may miss a potential patient who may be on the verge of attempting or committing suicide. Always remember, every suicide is preventable. It's probably not having received the right intervention at the right time that has probably led to suicide. When we look at the management of depression, there are various factors that go into the management. This includes medication and counseling. Always remember, medication and counseling go hand in hand. No one approach works alone better compared to both approaches working together. Why do I talk about medication and why do I talk about counseling? I talk about medication because depression is a disorder of the brain and of the mind. When I say the brain, there are certain chemicals in our brain which go up and down. So when you're sad, there are sad chemicals that rise. When you're not motivated, there are other chemicals that rise. When you're upset, there are some more chemicals that rise. And these chemical imbalances lead to you feeling sad, upset, forlorn, and all the symptoms of depression that haunts you. So one needs to be on medication to get these symptoms corrected and these chemical levels to rise. It's also very, very essential that we continue medication for the time prescribed by either our family doctor or the psychiatrist, because we should not decide to stop these medication on our own. At the same time, you may have family factors, factors in marriage, factors in your job, other factors that probably are leading to you feeling depressed. Now, these factors also need to be corrected. And who's going to do that? A counselor. The counselor is going to talk to you about multiple stresses in your life, try and help you find solutions to these stresses, and probably put you then in a better position to face these stresses. So, while we are treating your depression medically, we also need you to psychologically develop resilience, strength, and support you psychologically to overcome the stresses that you're facing in your life. Please remember, there is no shame in seeking help from a mental health professional. There is no shame in going to a psychiatrist. If you go to a psychiatrist or a mental health professional, it does not mean that you are weak and you cannot solve your problems on your own. It only means that you're going to a professional who is a doctor and who's scientifically equipped to help you deal with your problems. Do not be shy to visit a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist is a human being and a doctor like any other doctor. He's here to help you, he's here to listen to you, and he's here to give you pertinent scientific solutions to your problems rather than just probably only talk to you and send you home. You never know that one visit to a psychiatrist may change your thinking. That change in thinking may change your perception, and that change in perception may change your life. So it's very important that you make that visit. There is no shame. We have to overcome the shame. We have to overcome the stigma if present. A lot of people in the current pandemic and lockdown are also undergoing depression. There is a mass fear all around. Will I get COVID? Will I succumb to COVID? What if a family member of mine gets COVID? What if I am quarantined? What will this lockdown do to me? What is the future going to be? Is there going to be a lot of uncertainty? There are multiple depression and anxiety during this entire COVID scenario. And one has to be taking care of one's physical health and mental health during this time. In fact, a number of patients post COVID have had to face stigma in their societies, have had to face stigma when they came back. And this has led to depression. Being quarantined can also cause depression because you're away from family members, you're away from the people you love. This lockdown has led to families being separated, with one member of one family being in another city and half the family being in another city, and they've been torn apart for 2 months. And this has also led to certain amount of depression and anguish in these family members. But they all need help, so they need to seek help. They need to speak to someone. Today, you have the option of a video consultation, and telepsychiatry is in vogue. It's very important that you do not hesitate. You don't even have to step out from your house and go to a psychiatrist clinic. All you need to do is book an appointment, get on a video call from the very comfort of your home, and talk to a psychiatrist. You can choose a psychiatrist who you want from any part of India and get on a video call and speak to the person concerned, get help medically as well as through counseling, and get your problems solved. So earlier, there was this shame. Oh, I'm going to go to the clinic. People will probably see me. They'll think I'm mentally ill. And how will I overcome my depression? But now you're going to talk to the psychiatrist from the comfort of your home on a video call. You can overcome and throw that garb of shame away and speak openly to the doctor. Remember, like I said earlier, 1 in 3 people in the world are depressed. I always say this jokingly: look to your left, look to your right. If both are fine, then it's you. It's very important that you recognize depression early and treat it early, just as you would treat diabetes, blood pressure, or any other medical problem early. Medication given for depression need to be taken prudently. You cannot interfere with dosage and you cannot get non-compliant with these medication. You need to visit your psychiatrist again and again. One visit is not enough. A regular follow-up on a monthly or fortnightly basis is very essential for your recovery. You also need your family members to understand that you have depression so that they support you and take care of you and give you all the love and care you need during these trying and testing times. Help is available. All you need to do is go out there and seek help. The myth that depression is not curable needs to be removed. It is very treatable, it's definitely curable, and it can definitely be got totally under control. But it will only happen if you decide to seek help. Today, I want to tell you we're in an age where psychological problems abound us in all directions. We have to break that garb of uncertainty around us. We have to get rid of the shame and stigma that surrounds us. We have to go and meet a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a counselor and speak about our problems. A few years ago, the World Health Day theme was Depression, Let's Talk. Let's break that stigma. It's also very important that the moment you come to know about anybody feeling suicidal, seek help. See that that person goes to a mental health professional. Suicide is 100% preventable, and suicide prevention is everybody's business. We all have to work towards making this world depression free and suicide free. You may also try out yoga, exercise, meditation, dance, music, and anything else that interests you to overcome your depression while seeking help from a mental health professional. You may try on your own to snap out of the problem. It may not always happen. When it does not happen, please seek professional help for the same. All I want to tell you today is mental illness is nothing but another form of physical illness. Mental health is as important as physical health. So, when you feel low and when you feel depressed, always remember help is just a phone call away. Go and get it. You may end up saving your life and also the lives of everyone connected to you, because when you feel sad, they feel sad too. When you feel upset, they feel upset too. We are all here to help you. All you need to do is reach out to us. Our hands are waiting for you to get hold of them. Thank you very much, and let's work towards making this world depression and suicide free.
Insights from the world's best medical minds. You are watching therightdoctors.com.